Hello, I'm just getting an egg out of the fridge. All right. Hi guys, happy Friday. My name is Ashley. I write about food and recipes on the website Big Flavors from a Tiny Kitchen. It's bigflavorstinyKitchen.com. Most Fridays, it's a little dicey during the summer, but most Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I cook something live with you guys. Always welcome any questions you have. Can be related to this recipe, can be related to cooking in general, or, whatever else you care to ask about. Today, I'm going to be making pork scallopini with white bean tomato salad. This recipe is something that I put together to figure out something quick to make for dinner for my family that didn't take a lot of time, and it's a good way to use some canned beans. So I couldn't find pork scallopini today. It's on sale a lot at Acme if you have an Acme market near you, and they have like buy one get two free. So that's what I started using, pork scallopini. But today I got a pack of little thin cut pork chops, so I'm just going to pound them a little bit. And I'm going to use a stasher bag to store the extras because I don't need all of these. I'm probably going to just fry 2 of them for right now, and then I'll make the rest of them for dinner or something. But you can see they're like really thin, boneless pork chops that I'm using. But again, if you find scallopini, use that. They're a lot thinner than this. If you want to use chicken, you could use a chicken cutlet. It's pretty much the same thing as a scallopini. It's just, I think it refers to how thin the meat is, and makes it nice because it cooks up quickly, it's really tender, and the salad topping is really versatile. So I'm just going to pop this in the fridge so I can make the rest of these tonight. Okay, so the first thing that I'll do is I'm going to heat up, I like using peanut oil in a skillet just because it's a high heat cooking oil, but you can use avocado oil, any high heat cooking oil. I realize that some people have peanut allergies, so if you're, definitely don't use that as your go-to if that's an issue. But just kind of let's see if we can get a little light on there. Just kind of rolling it around to coat the bottom of the pan. And then I'm going to heat this over medium-high. I'm going to pound the cutlets out first, but then I will, I'll get my breading station set up. Hi, Amy. So if you buy a scallopini or cutlets, you don't have to worry about this part. But I'm going to pound these 2 pork chops out to be a little thinner. So I'm just going to cover it with some plastic wrap. And if you have meat tenderizer like this, don't use this side. That's the one to tenderize things. Use the flat side and just kind of start in the middle and give it a little even pressure. Happens pretty quickly. You just want it to be the same thickness or thinness kind of throughout. I have a bamboo board on top of my the normal butcher block I cut on to get since there's raw meat on here, this bamboo doesn't hold on to bacteria. So you can see this is how thin it is now, and this is what it started as. So nothing too crazy. That's almost as loud as the jackhammers outside here during construction. So I'm going to put this board in the sink. And now I'll get my breading station set up. Hi, Jen. I'm going to do medium-high heat. And I heard a trick years ago to help you remember the order for breading things. Feb, like the abbreviation for the month. So flour, eggs, then breadcrumb. So each step you want to season each of them, and then, well, you don't have to, but I usually do. You can season each of them, and then make sure when you dip it, you shake the excess off. So I'm only going to do 2, so I'm not going to do quite the same amount that I normally would. But if you were doing this for 4, which is what the recipe calls for, you'd use about 3/4 of a cup of flour, and the same with panko, and 1 egg. But I'm just going to do a scoop. Panko breadcrumbs. I like getting unseasoned ones. This is just a store brand, but you can see they're a little like chunkier than regular breadcrumbs, so they're not as fine, so they get nice and crispy when you fry them up. So I've got flour in one, panko in another. I'm going to put an egg. You're just kind of using wide, shallow dishes that'll fit your meat cutlets. I'm going to put an egg in a shallow bowl, and I'm going to beat it with a little bit of water, just a splash. I'm going to season all 3 of these with salt and pepper. Sorry, if my bracelets are too jangly, let me know. I'll take them off. Alright, so with the egg, a little splash of water just helps loosen it up, but just gonna, until it's beaten like that. So then, you can test to see if your oil is hot enough by taking just a little bit of flour and throwing it in, and if it sizzles in the oil, it's hot enough. Mine's not quite sizzling yet, so it's not quite ready. And this one would be good. This recipe would be great with over grilled meat. If you're grilling, sometimes I like to grill extra, and so I'll have, like, if we're grilling steak or something, I'll either have extra steak or I'll have a piece of chicken or something and ask my husband to, because he usually grills, to grill it with that so that I have it left over and I can use it for another meal. And then you already have your main cooked, and it's really nice. Same with vegetables, especially corn. I grew up in Indiana, so I love corn, and I often have them grill a lot of extra corn. So this, let me see if I had anything else. Oh, you could also do this with tofu. The breading might be a little tricky, but you could broil or grill up some tofu if you don't want to do meat. And it'd be good. I served it the last time I made it with rice, but it's also good over salad greens. It's really versatile, and the salad is super easy. You could make the salad in advance. I would probably wait to throw the basil on till right before you serve it, because it can tend to turn a little brown when you cut it. Alright, so now this is sizzling when I put it in, so like I said, FEB. So I'm going to take one of the cutlets and just kind of press it into the flour, and then lift it up and let any extra shake off. I usually pat the pork dry too. That helps this adhere. I didn't, but it's not very wet. Sometimes the meat's a little wet from the package. So I'm putting it in the egg, letting the extra drip off, and then I'm gonna lay it into the panko and just kind of press, especially in the panko, because it helps it adhere. So you can see both sides are coated, and then I'm gonna put it right into the heated skillet. And then repeat with the other. It's often good to have one hand for the dry stuff and one for the wet, because you get like kind of breadcrumb club hand going on. So just back in the flour again, then in the eggs. And these cook really quickly since they're so thin. So once you get them in the skillet, it's just a couple minutes. Alright, so this one is nice and coated also. And this is another thing that is great for, you can scale it up if you want. If you have a lot of people that you're serving, you just, you could put on a low oven to keep warm, and then as you cook them, you'll have to do it in batches probably. You can put them in the oven to keep them warm until you're ready to eat. Alright, so while that's sizzling, I'm gonna make the salad. I'm a big fan of making stuff while the other stuff is cooking. That way you don't have to like do a bunch of extra steps. So the white bean tomato salad, I'm gonna use a can of white beans or cannellini beans. The ones I found, they were on sale, are small, so they're a little smaller than the ones I usually use. You could use chickpeas in this. You could use red beans, whatever your favorite is. I really like white beans, especially with Italian flavors. So I'm gonna rinse and drain them. And sometimes with beans, like the end of the can kind of gets stuck in there. So I just take a spoon and get them all out. I do a lot of bean salads. I shared one that had cucumbers and dill and red onions the other day. That's one of my family's favorites. I'm just going to check on this pork. Let's see. How you're going to be able to see more though. Let's see if I bring it over here. Let's see how this works. So, got the 2 cutlets in there. I can see that the edge of the breadcrumbs are getting a little brown. So I'm going to flip. And if it's not quite dark enough, you can always flip them back over later. You don't want to overcook pork. You don't want it to be tough. If you're doing chicken, you definitely want to make sure you're cooking it all the way through. But again, it cooks really quickly since it's so thin. So I'm just rinsing the beans off and then get the extra starch off of them. And it saves you some sodium, I guess, if you're looking out for that. And I just kind of shake it till most of the water is out there. Put that in the bowl. I'm going to add a cup of grape or cherry tomatoes. I like using the colorful ones. Just it looks fresher on top, especially when you're putting it on top of like fried meat, you know. It doesn't always look the best. I've showed this tool before that I didn't think I would love as much as I do. It's an OXO grape cutter that I got when my kid was young. And you push it, and it quarters things. It's great for tomatoes, good for olives if you have them pitted. I use it quite a lot just to make it easier and cut everything consistently. I also, in case you're new here or you haven't seen this trick, the other thing I like doing when I'm cutting large amounts of small tomatoes, almost there, is I take lids you can get at the deli counter. Hi, Sandy. If you haven't seen this trick, I saw it on Rachel Ray like years ago, and it changed my life because I do a lot of tomatoes. You set them inside of one lid with the lip up and other lids lift down to make like a little sandwich. I'm going to turn the heat off over here because these are almost done already. And you take a sharp knife and you go right in between the 2 pieces and just, it cuts them all in half like really, really easily. So I do that also. Hey, Amber. So that's another one that I like to do. And I don't mind them have, the quartering is a little smaller, but you can also, if you don't have one of the little grape cutter things, you can cut them in half with the lids and then cut each of those. So I think the pork is already done. So I'm just going to remove it. If you want to, a paper towel lined plate, there it is, it's nice and crispy. But I have a small quarter sheet pan that's got rack on it. So that I'm going to put a little salt on it right when it comes out. But basically, that way any extra oil can come out. So you could put it on paper towels if you want, or this, and then that way all the extra doesn't stay and cling onto the meat and essentially make it soggy. So that's really it for that. Then the salad, it's just the beans, tomatoes, some shallots, fresh basil. I have some growing in my garden. It's really, do any of you guys do like herb gardens or vegetable gardens? I have a couple gardening tips on my website, but last year I grew 3 tomato plants, like cherry tomato plants out back, and they did so well that they like took over, and it just like my garden got out of control really, really fast. So this year I'm just doing herbs out front and out back. I have basil, mint, a little tarragon, chives that pop up every year since we moved here, which is kind of cool. What else do I have? Lots of parsley. I think we planted extra mint in a couple different types. I planted chocolate mint, spearmint, and peppermint. I need to get some dill and cilantro. Those don't always do well for me, but I give it a try. Last year the cilantro finally did all right. And I think it's all about how much sun it gets. So I had it in an area that gets sunlight in the morning, but not late in the day. I previously tried growing it in kind of like full afternoon sun, and that did not work at all. All right, so I got the tomatoes in there. I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of shallots. I'll just mince them up. You could use red onions. If red onions, if you are a little too strong for you, you can always soak, after you cut them, you could soak them in cold water for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and it'll kind of mild, make the flavor a little more mild. But I like them a lot, so I don't mind. Cut it up small. You could also, if you don't want to mince them, you could thinly slice them. That's real slippery, so I'm going to watch out for that. If you make this, or any of my recipes, I would love it if you leave a rating on the recipe on my website. It's in with where you comment. And if you take a picture of it, share it on social media and tag me. I'd love to see it. And you can use the hashtag #BigFlavors. If you're sharing it on Twitter, my handle's @BigFlavorsBlog, but everywhere else it's @BigFlavors. I love seeing a lot of people have been making the spiced chickpea flatbread, falafel spiced chickpea flatbreads lately. And it's always exciting to see that in someone else's kitchen. Okay, so I've got my shallots. Gonna do about 2 tablespoons of drained capers, and I'm also gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of the brine. So I like using these little capers. They're called nonpareil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they're in a brine, so once you start taking them out, you'll see there's liquid in here, and I like using that liquid instead of vinegar and like vinaigrettes and stuff. I really like, they're salty and tangy. It's a really nice flavor. This was an emergency buy. I like capers so much, I usually buy this size from the wholesale club because I just really, really enjoy them. So I ran out of capers recently and I was appalled with myself. All right, so about 2 tablespoons or however much you like. If you get the ones that are salt cured, they don't have brine and they're very, very, very salty. So just be warned for that. All right, I think that's about 2 tablespoons, and then 1.5 teaspoons of the brine right in here. And then I'm gonna add some basil. I picked this on the porch. I remembered to pick it before I started live with you guys today. Like I said, you want to slice your basil kind of right before you're going to eat it because it tends to get brown after it's cut. Oh, in case you haven't cut basil before, you can just kind of like stack the leaves together like that, and then you roll them up just kind of in a little package. And then it helps you cut them all together at the same time easier. It cuts them into little ribbons. It's called a chiffonade, but I'll just say thinly sliced. It just makes them a little more dense, so it's easier to cut through. So you can see it's like little ribbons and some for my floor. So that's going to go in. And then I'm not adding any salt because I had the capers in there. Pepper. I'm just going to do olive oil and pepper. And then if you want more salt, you can add salt or you can add some caper brine. So I'm just going to do about maybe 2 tablespoons. You can always add more if you need it. So, and this is why I like using those colorful tomatoes, because it's really, really pretty fresh salad. Since this comes together so quickly, you could make it first and wait to add the basil to the very end and then fry your meat. I just wanted to get the frying done. But so that's the salad. And then to serve, I'm going to actually put mine on some salad greens. Last time I made it, I served it with rice. It would be good with couscous. Really anything that you like on the side. So I have some. I swear I don't drop stuff on the floor when I'm cooking, not live, but I have some baby romaine mix. And this, for some reason, this package has like the largest baby lettuce leaves I've ever seen. So when I've been eating them, I've been ripping them. But I'm just going to do a little bit of salad greens. Take one of my cutlets. And then put this bean salad right on top. And since there's like the brine from the capers and the olive oil, that'll kind of dress the salad too. You can always throw a little more on the greens if you want. But let's see, I'll cut it so you can see the inside. So that's it. It's great with the salad. It's really easy for summer, and this is good with all sorts of different types of proteins. It'd be really good on fish, even shrimp, like if you have grilled shrimp. I'm just going to make sure it's good. It is still warm, and it's nice and crunchy. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can tag me in the comments. I might not be on next Friday because I might be out of town. Otherwise, I will see you on Friday, June 28th. Hope you all have a great weekend, and if you celebrate Father's Day, happy Father's Day. If you're looking for a gift for your dad or any dad-like figures, I have in my Amazon shop, there's a link above or below, depending where you're watching this. I have a whole grilling list in my Amazon shop, and I also have like a cocktails and mixology one, if your dads are into those type of things, and lots of kitchen tools and all that stuff. So I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.